Hello, welcome to scr1tno Knitting Project podcast. My name is Sharon and I'm coming to you from Surrey in the UK, where I live with my family, 3 cats and a dog. Today is Friday the 5th of March, I got there in the end, 2021, and this is episode 85. Welcome if you're a new viewer, welcome back if you're a returning viewer. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is my podcast all about my knitting rotation, which is how I get through all my knitting whips, and crochet. I have some crochet too. It's a 6-day rolling rotation because some days I'm busier than others, and we are looking at going back to face-to-face guiding in April, after we go back from the Easter holidays. So at that point I will no longer be doing Zoom calls, so my knitting will go down at that point because I will not be knitting when we're doing face-to-face guiding. Yeah, so that's why it's 6 days, because some days I'm busier than others, and then it rolls on. So something that was a Tuesday one week will then be a Monday the next week, so I'm busier on Tuesdays than Mondays. Did that make sense? I really hope so. Oh dear. Anyway, let's go into the proper podcast, and we'll go into admin. So we have 2 knit-alongs going on at the moment. We've got the square a day KAL, which is where we are knitting a square a day on a Cosy Memory blanket. Or in actual fact, what we're actually doing is working a little bit of time on something every day to make a bigger project. I personally am making a crochet Christmas blanket, which you'll see later on in the podcast. So quilting's allowed, crochet's allowed, Tunisian crochet's allowed, whatever you're doing. And if you're doing a little bit each day, it's allowed. And the other one is the, oh sorry, and I was going to say the first check-in for the square a day is at the end of March, and you should have 90 squares or 90 things of whatever it is you're doing. So there will be a check-in thread on Ravelry, but equally if you can't use Ravelry, on Instagram tag me in to your square a day KAL posts. Let me know that it's the 90, it's your check-in, and I'm going to do like I did with the February socks. I'm going to do a highlights on my Instagram, so I can save it onto my Instagram, and then I will include it afterwards in the numbers, like I did for the stripy sock KAL. I think that's everything for that. I feel like I'm a little bit all over the place this morning. I'm not quite sure why. I think it's because I'm excited to do the prize bit. So next up is the stripy sock KAL. So February is finished. I have drawn the prizes. There is some footage which I think I'm going to put in here. Hey folks, I'm just going to do the draw for the stripy sock KAL for the end of February. It's the 2nd of March today. It's got to be the earliest I've ever done a draw actually. So we've got 81 entries. Some are on Instagram, some are on Ravelry. I haven't had any emailed to me. So I'm going to ask our lovely assistant, who shall remain nameless until I ask her name, to pick a number between 1 and 81. First of all, for Jenny's lovely skein. Do you remember it's the scr1tno self-striping? So let's see who's the winner of that. Hopefully not Jenny herself, otherwise I will redraw. Alexa, pick a number between 2 and 81.
Your random number between 2 and 81 is 20.
Okay.
By the way, you have one new notification. When you see the yellow light ring on your device, it means you have a notification or message. Just say, read my notifications.
She really wants to get in on this, doesn't she? Dear oh dear. Alexa, pick a number between 2 and 81.
Your random number between 2 and 81 is 37.
37. Okay, so they're both on the Ravelry group. Let's have a look, see what we've got. Should we see who's won? Let's have a look. So, well, 20 I think is going to be on the first page. Should we have a look? I've got to get the Mighty Networks thing sorted out because it actually makes me spin out watching it. Ooh, Mary Jennifer 62 with a lovely pair of opal socks. And that's actually your second entry that's won, so it's worth doing those second entries. So you've won Jenny's lovely skein. So that's Mary Jennifer 62. So let's see who number 37 is, shall we? She's spinning herself out. Oh, let's have a go. 126. It's going to be a bit further down than that. Oh, wow. Well, there you go. It's the Lonely Knitter. It's Laura. Well done, Laura. That's incredible. Oh, and you used Jenny's amazing yarn. So you have won the lovely bag donated by Sue, who lives in New Zealand. So that's going to be a one of a kind. So congratulations to those two. I love all the entries. It's been such a fun KAL. I can't wait for March. And should we just have a recap on, because you know everybody wants to hear me say those two dyers again, don't they? Recap for March, shall we? So I don't put March FO on that. Oh, such a melon. I need to put FO on that in a minute. So the March one is Desert Vista Dyeworks, Fab Funky Fibres, Regia, Knitting Goddess, who has in fact had a self-striping update. I've seen the email, and Austermann Step. So any one of those gets you an extra entry, and as Mary Jennifer proved, you can actually win with your extra entries. So shall we see where the Mary Jennifer is from? I know where Laura's from. Let's have a look. What number was it? Number 20. Let's see where Mary Jennifer's from. Mary Jennifer. Wow, from Victoria, Australia. In that case, I'm really glad it happened that way. Otherwise, that bag would have travelled all the way from the New Zealand to the UK to go back to Australia. That would have been a bit of a roundabout journey, wouldn't it? So, yeah, lovely. That lovely skein of yarn will be winging its way to you in Australia. How cool is that? Brilliant. Okay, so that's the draw. So I will assume I'm going to insert this into the podcast. So well done to the winners. So number 20, who is Mary Jennifer 62, you won the Woolly Goodness self-striping skein. So this is one that she dyed specifically for a prize, and very kindly gifted me one as well. So this is the one that she gifted me, because yours is all wrapped up. And yeah, so that's what you've won. This is so lovely, and thank you so much, Jenny of Woolly Goodness, for this amazing prize, and I cannot wait to knit mine up. I'm saving it for the spring, where I think it's going to be my Easter cast on, because I just want to sit there out in the garden doing, and it's gloriously shiny too. So yeah, I just want to sit in the garden, cast it on. It's really pretty. So well done, Mary Jennifer 62. Could you ping me a message with your address, and I will get this off to you. Mary Jennifer is in Australia, so that skein of yarn is going to be winging its way to Australia, which is really exciting. And the other one, which of course was the lovely Laura from the Lonely Knitter podcast. So that is fabulous, and she's winning this amazing bag. Now, I'm kind of glad it went the way round it did, because this bag has already travelled all the way from to here from New Zealand. I didn't really want to send it all the way back to Australia. I'm kind of glad it's staying. So yeah, so Laura, you're getting this fabulous bag. It's really pretty, and this was made by the lovely Sue, who is a viewer of this podcast. It's really well made. It's got beautiful grey inside, and it's even got a lovely little pocket. So there you go, Laura, you can keep your monthly socks you're knitting in your a lovely sock bag. So thank you, Sue, for very kindly sending this. I kept the other one, if you remember, so I'm going to put one of my ones that I haven't used from my stash of project bags in to replace it, because it had kiwis on it and I wanted to keep it. Yeah, so well done to the prize winners. I'm so excited to get those out. And also, now that I've worked out how to do postage from home, I'm going to be far more efficient at getting these out. So hopefully you will, well, I mean, I'm not sure how long it will take to get to Australia, but hopefully, Laura, you should get yours by the end of next week at the latest. If you don't kick me, because it means I haven't sent the other one as well. Although I will send the other one first because it's got further to travel. So yes, well done. So for March, our dyer of the month, which means you get an extra entry, is Desert Vista Dyeworks, Fab Funky Fibres, Regia, the Knitting Goddess, who has definitely just had a self-striping update because I got the email yesterday. So if you want some really lovely self-striping, go check out the Knitting Goddess, and Austermann Step. So I believe Austermann Step is a commercial yarn and Regia is as well. So if you haven't got access to the indie dyed yarn and you want to use a commercial yarn, you get 2 entries for that as well. Obviously, if you didn't quite make the deadline with your February socks, quite welcome to post them for March. You just don't get the double entry. Also, a little bit of an amendment to rules. You are allowed to use a sock machine to make your socks from. And also, I've had a query as to whether they have to be made entirely out of the yarn for the extra entry. No, they don't. If you're doing heels, toes and cuffs in a random mini or whatever that you've got in your stash, that's absolutely fine, as long as the main body of the sock is in the other yarn, that's fine. If you're striping it and you're striping it with, say, a plain yarn, that's fine too. As long as it's got the yarn on there somewhere. It's me. Yeah, I'm pretty flexible. I mean, if you put in an opal and go, yes, it's a Regia, I might just call you out on that, but otherwise, I'm literally distracted by the squirrel that's running up the tree behind you. Squirrel. But yeah. So that's fine. But yeah, congratulations to the prize winners. That's so exciting, and I'm looking forward to seeing all the March. I've already had someone finish a March sock, so there is already an FO thread open in Ravelry if you can use Ravelry for your FOs. If you cannot, please tag me in your finished socks for March, and again I will add them to my highlights so that I've got them afterwards. So what I did was, the ones that were on my highlights, I put their names all down in a list, and if they had the dyer or commercial yarn of the month, I did ×2 and added that to the number of entries on Ravelry and did it from the whole lot, which is why it was 81, because I think Ravelry goes up to 68, something like that. Anyway, yeah, brilliant. I'm so pleased this first month, and thank you also for all your enthusiasm for this sock count, because I'm loving it. I'm loving seeing all the socks being made. Yeah, it's fab. And if you want to donate a prize, please, that would be brilliant. We've got some lovely prizes coming up. March, I've got a project bag from my lovely friend Jo, who's So Can Jo, and it's got a March hair on it. That's beautiful. And there's some yarn as well for March. Also for the Square a Day Cal in March, I have a couple of sets of minis, which I will, the Willy Goodness ones you've already seen, and I have another set to share with you later on in the podcast. That's in my Happy Mail section. So yeah, thank you very much for joining in and for donating prizes. Before I leave admin, I've just thought I'm just going to mention my cardigan. I'm going to stand up for a second just so you can see it. Can you see it's got pockets? It has a pocket. Now this cardigan my mum knit, and I'm thinking it's probably about 1990, between 1990 maybe and 1994. She knit it for my dad. Now we're having a big sort out in this house at the moment because everything has been moved around by daughters moving out and things. I'm beginning to find stuff, and some of it is some of my mum's knitting, and I remember her knitting this for my dad, and I sort of got it out of the box. I was like, I would totally wear that. So I've now popped it on and I love it. I thought it was acrylic, but it's really not. This is definitely wool. So I think it must have been some kind of hayfield, because my mum was a big hayfield fan. So I'm guessing it was hayfield, and it would have been a hayfield pattern as well. probably bought from a company called Knitwell, which was who we used for yarn years ago because you could get it mail order. Anybody else remember Knitwell? But yeah, and it's just got this lovely flex in it. It's super warm. I'm really enjoying wearing it. So yeah, I thought I'd just let you know what I was wearing today. Not knit by me, knit by my mum. So day one is socks, and my first pair are hanging out in my lovely little elderflower stitches bag. It always blows out the camera, this bag. You can come back. And this is my entry for February's stripy socks, and I haven't, and that's my entry for March's, but I haven't actually wound that up yet. And I'm hoping I got a bit further on these than I showed you last week. Nope, I didn't. I haven't done anything more on those since I showed you last week. So these are my Woolly Goodness socks. Yeah, and I've not made any progress on those, so they can go back in there. I honestly thought I had, but I have obviously not. And the reason I haven't is living in this lovely bag, which Kelly from Les Family Yarn kindly made for me, and I adore. And this is the March Rainbow Chronicle socks, and this is the reason why there's no progress on the other socks, because all I've been knitting on is these. I honestly thought I took them out with me to an appointment or something, but I obviously didn't, or if I did, I didn't knit on them. So this is my Rainbow Chronicles socks for March. So that's the first one, and that's the second one. There we go. I thought I was going down a, yeah, I am. I'm going down a heel flap on that one. Turn it around that way, you might be able to see it. So do you remember I said to you I was going to experiment with different types of ribbing? This is the crenulated rib, which I know is on the one of Kay Jones's sock patterns, and one of maybe Knitting Expat or Helen Stewart, one of the two, one of their patterns too. So we've done that. Now this is just I was doing a twisted stitch instead of a knit stitch. Well, I got to there and I was like, nope, I'm done. So now we've gone into plain vanilla. That was as far as I did it, and also it's quite dense and I was worried it won't fit over my foot if I carry on. So it's got like the first that much is the twisted stitch, and then I'm like, nope, it's going into vanilla. So I need to get on with these actually, but that's not too bad. I mean, we're only what, day 5, but one day I did actually, day 2, so the 2nd of March, I did actually sit and knit most of these. That's all I knit on, which is why there is very little progress on my garment, because the day I was supposed to knit the garment, I knit socks on sock day, and then I knit socks on garment day. So I got this sock done on sock day, and then I got this sock done on garment day, and I was a bit like, oops, I haven't made any progress on my garment. I have made a tiny bit of progress, but nothing significant. So that's what I'm doing, and I knit mine on 2 circulars, which are hanging out in a needle cozy from, this is Sherry Iris, and that one is Craft House Magic. And I used 2.5mm 60 stitch count, and they are Licky needles. And yeah, I mean, I love, this is such a pretty pack. I'm loving the colours together, very pretty. And I thought this time, rather than use it in the order that was in the pack, which I couldn't do anyway because my pack arrived and it had all kind of squidged down to the bottom of the pack, so I couldn't really do it in order anyway. I thought I'd do it from like the darkest to the lightest, and then go from the lightest to the darkest again. And I quite like that. So we'll see how they work. So it'll be like a rainbow. Makes sense, doesn't it? So they've got a lot of love and attention this week, and it's from the pack from Les Family Yarn. And this is the March pack, and then the 2 I haven't. Yes, there is only 2 in there. They're the 2 I haven't put in yet. So I'm going to have a come December a box full of scrappy socks, which is fabulous. I'm really looking forward to that. I don't magic knot or anything, I just sew in my ends because I've had a bit of a disaster in the past with socks. In fact, I may have them to show you. They may be in my podcast basket, they may not. If they are, I'll show you later the disaster I've had with magic knots. I won't do that again. Right, so yeah, that's day 1 socks. So day 2 is shawl day, and I'm working on a long outstanding work in progress, and it's hanging out in my dandelion and dogwood bag. She says, thinking rapidly. I think that's who it is. Yeah, D&D, dandelion and dogwood. There we go. And this is a Maytham shawl. Now the Maytham shawl is a pattern by Helen Stewart. I'm guessing it was probably a Shawl Society pattern. She says, not sure. Yeah, I think it may have been a Shawl Society pattern. That's Helen's. So in Helen's you can see it's in 2 colours. You can also see some writing on there because I've been working out where I was going to change colours on mine. So mine's in more. Hold on. Let's see if I can work out what mine's in. So mine, I've got, this is it. Let's take it's a needle cozy by Busy Pottering. So I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colours in mine, and this is a set from the Crafty Toads. Toad. Why can't I remember the name of their yarn? Toad Hollow yarn. Crafty Toads. Hold on. Toad Hollow. So that's their label. And it's from the Lost in Time collection, which is a Outlander reference. And I think the colour I'm using now is either Lollipop or Wild Mountain Thyme. Which is really helpful, isn't it? I don't know which one it is. It's this beautiful green. And I'm going into a lace section on the green. Now there are 300 stitches? No, maybe more than that. What am I on? Am I on this page? There's 525 stitches now. So it's taking a while. So although I did do this on shawl day, I only made that much progress. But I think you can agree for 525 stitches, it's quite a lot of progress. It's a half pie shawl, so it's one of the ones where you double the amount of stitches each time you do yarn over increase round. And I think this is the last one. I don't think it goes up to any more than 525. No, it doesn't. So that's the last increase. So this is the maximum amount of stitches I'll have on the needle. But it's quite a pretty scalloped edge. There we go. Pattern now. So that's the section I'm on there. I'm doing that section. And I love this. I cannot wait to have it finished. It's something I really want as a finished item, but it also seems to be the one whip that disappears each time I get the mood to do something different. So I'm really hoping that this time I will stick with it. Now I've got a second Maytham shawl, which that's actually the wrong side. You probably want to see it that way around. No you don't, that's the right side. I was right first time. Yeah, I have a second Maytham shawl which I lost a year ago, 2 years ago. It was quite a while ago. No, it was 2 years ago, wasn't it? Because I found it last year. Goodness me. I lost it 2 years ago. And I found it last year when I was tidying up my craft room when we were going to have to use it as an office. so that would have been April last year. So when I've got this one finished, I would like to work on that one. Part of me goes, well, do you really want to do that directly after you've done this one? And then part of me goes, well, actually I've already got the pattern in my head, so the muscle memory will be there. It's really pretty. It's in hedgerow yarns and it's a delicate pink and undyed. It's very pretty. So I'm tempted to do that next, and then I'm hoping that if I do that next, that will take me into the spring, which is when I would want to pick up my Killarney scarf again, because I can knit that outside. So that's kind of my thoughts for Shawl Day for the moment, is to get this done, get the other Maytham done, and then do my Killarney, because I love the Killarney. It's just it's a lot of brain power, and you can't sit and knit and watch telly, which I don't obviously do outside, so sitting and knitting outside with it would be the perfect project. And it's so pretty. I really want to get that done. It's a lovely pattern. It's just a bit involved, which is, you know, that's lovely. It's lovely to have an involved pattern, just not telly knitting. This is telly knitting, because once you've worked out the pattern, it's the same pattern repeated, so it's not too much of a problem. But yes, that's my Maytham shawl, and as I said, I'm really looking forward to getting this done. I know I will use it an awful lot when I get it finished. So, and also at the moment my blocking mats are out, so it'd be a really good time to get this finished so I can put it away. But yeah, that's whatever day that is, day 2, Shawl Day. So day 3 is Garment Day, and that is hanging out in my lovely Elderflower Stitches bag. And as I said, I didn't do a huge amount on this because I got distracted by my socks. But what I did do was, hold on, so let's hold this up so you can see it for a start off. This is how it's looking. It's going into that sort of buttery yellow, and then it's going into a peachy brown. And oh, what I did was, where is it? There we go. So I did from my lemon meringue pie. So I finished the mini for the body, and I'd already put it in the sleeves. So I've got I'm on to the next mini now, which is exciting. And I think I've only got one more mini to do on the sleeves, and then it's cinch it in for the cuffs. I think we're there with the cuffs then. I think that's right. I'd have to try it on again actually. But yeah. So I didn't get a huge amount done. So if you don't know what this is a raglan sweater, which is a kind of bits and pieces from various patterns. I had started using the no frills, but the pattern isn't size inclusive, so I did not carry on with that. And then I also fudged the raglan sleeves from the Felix jumper, which is actually an Aran weight jumper, but I did a lot of that from having done the Harry Potter sweaters at Christmas. So I kind of fudged it from there, and now I'm totally fudging it. I'm using the Whitmore sleeves. I mean, it is just it's a Franken jumper. It's a Franken jumper. But yeah, I really like it. Can't wait for it to get done. I get it out of the bag and go, oh, why am I not working more on that? Because the socks got in my way. But today is actually Garment Day, so I'm going to split my mini later before I start editing, and then I can start while I'm editing. It's just going round and round in circles, so that'll be fine. And I've got a little set of scales that I keep in here, so it makes it nice and easy for me to split my mini. Now I have to say, this bag is fantastic because it's got all the minis, a full skein and the jumper in there, and it's DK, so it's doing really well, this bag. So that is Elderflower Stitches. Just a quick word that Susie has in fact got sign-ups for her advent at the moment. If you want to take part in her advent this year, go check out her YouTube channel. and watch her advent video, which is up on there, and she tells you how to email her and sign up for it. So I've signed up for the DK one again, because why wouldn't I? Right, so that's day 3, garment day. So day 4 is small items day, and this comes under exciting new cast-ons. So it's hanging out in a lovely bag by Craft House Magic. It's actually a Valentine's bag, so I've kind of missed by a day or so, but who cares? It's a really pretty bag. So I'm just so excited about this. I am going to make some colourwork wrist warmers, and they are called, I think, the Varia mitts by Erica Hooser, and look, they are absolutely fab. I cannot wait to do these. Now I did her songbird mitts last year for a present for Christmas for someone, and I saw this pattern come out. I was like, oh, I desperately want to make that owl, and I love colourwork, as you know. So this is my exciting new cast on, and let me share my yarns with you. So I am using, I've kept my yarn labels, look at that. Oh, the cream one has decided to stay in there. So the main colour is this variegated brown from Gamer Crafting, and it was part of her, in fact I think it might have even been her first club, and it's called Gear Wars, and it was part of the steampunk club, and I thought it was perfect for that main colour. So that's that one. Then the contrast colour, so that the white for the owl, on the owl, is this, which has undressed itself. So it's got it's a bit like the cardigan I'm wearing actually. It's got some black speckles in it. It has got some brown speckles in it, so I'm hoping that's not going to disguise it too much. And this is from Felt Fusion, and it's her Hedgewig colourway. And I thought, what better to use for an owl than an owl? And then finally there's a little contrast, a secondary contrast, which is in this bottom here, which is this bluey colour. And that I'm using this little mini here. Now this little mini here I dyed myself. I dyed it on Sunday with leftovers from other dyeing that I did that was still in the pot, and just made it. And on Sunday this wasn't even on my radar, so when I saw that I was like, ooh, that mini would go really well. Well, it doesn't. It's got quite a lot of yellow in it, and I'm going to show you what I've got compared to what the pattern's got. Now, when you're doing contrasting colourwork, you really do need your yarns to contrast to see the pattern. So on there, you can see that pattern quite clearly. And on mine, you can't so much. It doesn't really stand out. However, I am going to carry on with it because it really doesn't bother me that much. I think it stands out enough that I can get away with it. However, in a moment, I am going to, if I can, put that up close. I'm going to turn the screen black and white. Now, if this has worked, you can clearly see there is no contrast between those two yarns. You cannot see the two different colours. It just looks like it's all one yarn, one mild, not mild, one speckled, if you like, yarn. There is no definition at all. So when people say about if you want to see if your yarn is contrasty enough, take a black and white photo, this is what they mean. As you can see here, there is no contrast at all. You cannot see where that blue yarn is compared to the brown. So the blue yarn is here, that is blue, and that's brown down here. You can't see that at all, can you? So that's why you do that. and I whacked it through my camera, looked at it and was like, that really isn't showing up at all. But I am going to leave it. Hopefully we're back into colour now. I am going to leave it because actually I can see the pattern and I'm not that worried. But if I make these again, which I may very well do, depending on how the how well this blends with it, I would use a lighter coloured blue and not as variegated, and certainly not variegated with yellow in, which is in the same colour as in the main skein. I did think that at the time. Oh, and also this has got purple in it. This has got purple in it, and also this has got purple in it. I know it doesn't look like it, but there are flashes of purple in there too. Those dark flashes are actually purple. So when the purples go next to each other, you really can't see it. Perhaps not the smartest thing I've done. But I'm really looking forward to it. I love, as you know, I love doing colour work. It's probably my favourite type of knit. In fact, it's not. It is definitely my favourite type of knitting. I mean, I haven't really brioched, so I can't really comment on that. But I don't mind a lace pattern, and I don't mind doing cables. Bubbles I'm not keen on. I certainly am not keen on beadwork, but give me some colour work and I'm normally pretty content. I do love some colour work. But never mind. So I'm doing these on my standard 2.5mm needles. I think it calls for a 2.25. But I was really wary doing 2.25 and colour work because my colour work is very tight. So I'm thinking 2.5 definitely, if not 3, but I'm thinking 2.5. So if I knit this one and it doesn't work, it will just be a little mitt sitting there all on its own, and I will do the necessary adjustments on the second one and make a third. But yeah, so that's my very exciting and possibly all I want to work on cast on, because you know what I'm like. But I'm going to try and be good and only work on it on day 4 on my mitt day, which actually is tomorrow, I think. If it's today's day 3, that would follow, wouldn't it? Tomorrow would be day 4. Oh dear. So yeah, that's the picture, just one more time. And I do like them. I think they're very exciting. Right, so that's day 4, small items day. So day 5 is mystery blanket day. I didn't get on very well with this week. I knit on it all the time I had to knit, but it's not even that involved, if I'm honest. It's just involved. So the mystery blanket is the mystery blanket from Debbie Abrahams from 2019, this one, and it's called Winter Wonderland, and I really like it, but yeah, I'm not quite sure I didn't make more progress on it than I did. I seem to be knitting on it forever, and that's all I did. And that's got to be a good 3 hours worth of knitting, which seems unlikely, but yeah, that's all I got done. I was expecting to get that whole square done. I'm not even halfway up it. It's really bad. I mean, admittedly, I did have brownies and I couldn't knit on this during the Zoom call because it's too involved. So consequently, I didn't knit on anything, which was really stupid because I've got another project that I'm going to show you in a moment I could have knit on instead. But yeah, didn't make the best progress on that. I had all good intentions yesterday of getting this square done, but it didn't happen. So hopefully next time we'll get our teeth into that square. It's really easy. It's such an easy pattern as well. I don't even need to look at the pattern other than the row count. Yeah, don't know what happened there, but that's what the rest of the strip is looking like. It's knit in strips and then you sew the strips together. And it's really pretty, and I really do like it, and I want the finished object, so basically I need to get on with it. Don't quite know what's going on with me at the moment, because it's not it's not a lack of knitting mojo, but I just seem to get distracted when I'm knitting. and I'll knit for like 3 minutes, and I'll be checking my phone, or sort of wandering around the house, or thinking, oh, I just need to go and do so and so, and I never really settle. And it's not like me. I'm normally a settler, so I'm not quite sure why I'm just not sitting there and settling into knitting stuff. I'm hoping this weekend, my plan is actually this weekend to try and give myself a bit of a weekend off, and try and relax a little bit. I have got in behind that curtain there, I'm glad that curtain's there, because there is floor to ceiling boxes at the moment which we have sorted out from another room, which I do need to sort at the weekend, because at the moment you can't get into the cupboard, which is not great. So I do need to get that sorted, but I can do that bit by bit and sort of sit and knit in between times. But yeah, last weekend I completely wrecked this room getting the chest of drawers done, which are done. They're over there, they're all painted white. And I dyed some yarn, and I seemed to take all weekend doing both. Didn't really kind of settle to anything, but hopefully we've got a Zoom this weekend, a Zoom knit night, so that'll be cool. Talking of Zoom knit nights, and this should have gone in admin, I'm going to try and do a podcast one in April. I might do a Google form sign up for that next week. I've also still got to do the certificates for the blankets, which I haven't forgotten about. It's just my software that I'm using decided to corrupt, and I looked at it and went, yeah, okay, that can wait. So I do need to do that as well. So day 6 is blanket day, which is normally my friendship blanket, which is a giant crochet granny square, which I will show you in a moment, but it's actually sharing the day with another blanket. So I'm going to do them on alternate weeks until the friendship blanket's done, and then I will carry on with the other blanket until that's caught up, and then I'll add up putting in my corner to corner blanket as well. I'm sorry, that probably doesn't make sense. It makes sense in my head. But let's start with my friendship blanket, which is hanging out in my Socan Joe bag appropriately. And this is all the minis I got at Christmas from friends for Advent swaps. And I'm getting there. I'm on, what am I on? I'm on pack 23 now. I've got one more left in 23, and there's 4 in a pack, and that's 24. And then I've got a little pack of minis from my friend Lone, who's the lonely sock lady. So once they're all in here, I'm thinking I'm calling it done, because it's massive. I hadn't realised how big it had got until I laid it out at some point, and it's massive. So that's where, I mean, that is not where I was last week. I'm just saying that is not where I was, because I was at the beginning of the green row. So yeah, I was, where was I? I was about there. So I did all that dark green. I like how that green and blue are playing together. And then there. So I'm not quite sure why he ended up in there, but I then did this brilliantly multicoloured one, which is fabulous. And I am magic knotting this and then just crocheting the ends in, and there's a few ends peeking out, but I don't really mind that. So more multicoloured, went into this blue. Oh, and that's where I got to. So that's the moon from Laura, who is Crafter's Bum and Bumbling Yarns, and that's where I got to. So yes, this is getting really big, really big. Oh, that's my hook. I will show you my hook in a moment. I haven't got that much of that left actually. That won't take me long to put in. Oh, now I've got 2 of them, because that bit just jumped out of there. So this is it. She says, trying to sort it all out. It's massive. And it's different on all sides because they're quite small minis. So yeah, I'm loving this. but yeah, I definitely think this is going to be called done. It's huge. I was going to put in, I think we're doing a mini swap for Easter. We need to talk about that. And if we do, then I was going to put the minis in here, but honestly, I think it's big enough. So yeah, I may start a new granny square at Easter with the Easter ones. I'm not sure, but I've really enjoyed doing this, and that's my crochet hook. I'm sorry, I do not know who it came from, but it says actually really comfortable to use. It might not look it, but and it's getting smoother the more I use it. I have got a second one of these, but I do not know where it is, which is odd because I have now tidied up my craft room, so theoretically I should know where it is. Okay. I'm sure it will turn up. Most things do, don't they, eventually? But yeah, that's my crochet hook. So that's part of my blanket day, and bear with me, I'll just put this away and then I'll show you my next one. So also on blanket day, I am going to alternate it with my little friend here, who is my sheet bucket that Kelly kindly bought me. And do you remember last week I was showing you the lovely minis from Woolly Goodness? Now this is her colours of the month, and this was the February one, so if you haven't got yours yet, look away because I'm just going to show it to you again, because this is what inspired it. So I got those, and I decided I really wanted to put them all into a habitation throw. And then I decided that actually if I was going to do that, I would use her scrappy boxes as well, because I'm not using them in a Cosy Memory blanket this year. So it would make sense for me to, this January's one, to use these scrappy boxes as well. So I'm going to add these two. I'm going to add these in as well. So this is January's. So I started with January's colours of the month and then put in January's scrappy box. I then realised I'd totally done that round the wrong way, because Jenny sends out the scrappy boxes before the colours of the month, but hey ho, I was never one for making my life easy, was I? So I put in January's colours of the month, which is that one, and that one, so those first three, and then I started putting in the scrappy box for January, which is there. So that is how my habitation. Oh really? I apparently stopped in the middle of a row. Oh, rookie podcaster error. It's gonna make it very difficult to show you now, isn't it? Oops. Yeah, okay, so we'll just pull our needles through because we don't want it to fall off. I can't believe I did that. Oops. So yeah, so this is another reason why my knitting content is slightly down on some of my other projects, because I wanted to knit on this most of the weekend. So I'm going to alternate it with the friendship blanket. Then when the friendship blanket's done, I'm going to knit solely on this until I've caught up with all the boxes, and then when I've caught up with all the boxes, I'm going to alternate it with my corner to corner crochet blanket that I've got that I'm doing, which is my Kelly blanket. Confused you will be. But yeah, so I've started a habitation throw, and I'm literally going to use all of my I might as well show you that actually, that's quite a useful thing to show you. I'm going to use all my scrappy boxes from Jenny from this year. I've got some scrappy boxes from Jenny from last year too, but I'm not putting those in. So really looking forward to doing that. It's so much fun. And we were, why did we have to go out? We had to go out for a reason. Oh, we had to go and collect some furniture, and it was dark. So I use this. This is my neck light. So you wear it around your neck, and then you've got these two bits, and then if you turn it on, you can see what you're doing in the dark, which is really useful. And it also doesn't dazzle the driver if you happen to be in the car when you're doing it. It also it's a USB charge, so no batteries involved, which is fab because we've got chargers in the car, so if it does start to go a bit dim, I can just stick it on charge for a little while and it charges quite quickly. But I just got that off of Amazon, and it's, yeah, it's fab. I love it. So that's kind of hanging out in here just because it went out. Otherwise it hangs out in my basket over there. So that is day 6, blanket day. Next up is my square a day, which is living in my busy pottering seaside bag, together with the working bag. So the blanket is in that one. So that's the bits that I'm attaching it to is in there. And then the working strip is in here. So I don't have to put it all out each time. And this is a bag by Craft Magic. And in here I have got my magic knot ball. I'm going to knit probably a habitation throw or crochet a corner, I don't know. I'm going to do something with that when it's finished. I've got my joining yarn, which is Silverbells by Yantan Tetherer, and I think I am going to need more of this. I've got my current strip that I'm working on. So the idea is I am doing alternating a plain one with a more variegated one, and the ones with the stitch markers are what I've done this week. So these are the ones I've done this week, and I have finished this half of the strip. Now the strip is 20 squares long, so half a strip is 10 squares long, and that's that one. So I'm just going to start my other half of my strip, and I'm going to be alternating this one, which is a homespun house, and it's called I Made My Family Disappear, and this one, which is an unnamed mini, I think from Willy Goodness. I think that came from Willy Goodness, from Jenny in actual fact, rather than Willy Goodness, from Jenny herself. So I'm going to alternate those two together with these two. Yeah, it's really exciting, really excited about that. Looking forward to those two colours. So that's the two I will be working on next week, and then when that strip's done, which theoretically takes 10 days, I will attach it to the other one. So I've already done 8. So I'm over, I think I worked out this morning, I'm over a third of the way through the blanket, which is exciting. I am using a clover crochet hook, which I think is, yeah, a 3mm clover crochet hook. My rings keep escaping today. Yeah, 3mm clover crochet hook, and just generally enjoying it. The great thing about crochet, of course, is it's a lot quicker than knitting a square each morning. So I do get through it a lot quicker, which is just as well, because my morning routine at the moment, as well as working out, means that I'm also tidying out our junk room, which is affectionately known as the black room because it is painted black. Well, one of the walls is painted black. It was where one of Ian's sons, it was his room when he lived with us, and we've never got round to decorating it since he left, and it's been one of those rooms that's accumulated everybody's cast-offs. So I'm going through it, just doing half an hour every day, but it's making such a difference to get it done. So I'm doing that in the morning, so having some extra time, that's where I was going with that, because that's crochet, not knit, is actually quite welcome. There was a reason to that complete tangent. So yeah, that's my square a day, and I'm doing a crochet one. Now my Happy Mail basket is way too full. So I've got a few things to show you. Now first up is club. So I've got the I'm trying to keep it, I nearly just showed it. So this is the February 2021 sock club from the Foxglove Wood sock club from Sherry Iris. So if you've not got yours, look away. Particularly look at the mini on this, because the mini on this is brilliant. Isn't that fab? So that's Sherry's little label for this one, and that's a little extra, and it came with that lovely artwork. and then it's got sort of details of what the inspiration behind the club was, etc, etc, but I'm not going to share that because I don't want to spoil anybody. So that's the Sherry Iris sock club. I'm just going to show it one more time, keep looking away. Isn't that lovely? Right, so that's that one. You can look back now. Now the next up is also Sherry Iris, but this is not a club. This is her Hellebore mini set. So she's dyeing a mini set a month, and yes, I am getting those ones. Was it Ellie that said that? Ellie from Craft House Magic that said minis don't count as stash? I think my husband would disagree with you there. He was looking at my that one down there, full of minis. I was like, you really don't need any more minis. I was sitting there going, yeah, that's because that's all the minis I've got. I will have to do that craft hat room tour so you can see everything at some point. I need to get that cupboard sorted first, then you can have the craft room tour. So yeah, these are beautiful. And definitely, I think she's nailed the Hellebore part of it. And that's the lovely artwork. So that's Sherry's one. I got these lovely minis from Helen of Giddy Yarns. These are her spring minis, and these make my heart so happy. They really do. And I think I'm going to have to make scrappy socks out of them, because they're just gorgeous. And I think they'd really make such a... And I don't think I do... Oh, I'm having a thought. I was going to say, I don't think I do full length scrappy socks. I think I do minis, not minis, shorties, that's the word, out of these. I'm actually thinking they'd make fabulous jelly rolls, because that's a plain and that's a plain, and you could jelly roll it with these three. That would be so pretty. And these are 20 grams, so I've probably got enough, because that's 50 grams worth of yarn. So I could probably make, well, I could make at least one pair. I might be able to squeeze out two, and if not 2 jelly rolls, then at least 2, like a jelly roll and a scrappy pair. They're lovely. So they might very well go on my needles very soon. So also from Helen, I got the February Marvellous Monthly Minis Club. So if you don't want to see what they look like, then please look away now. And she's very, very kindly sent 2 of these, and one of them is a podcast prize. So that will go for the square a day Cal. I'm having trouble opening this. That's Helen's card, so you can know where to find you. So she sent 2, one of which is a podcast prize, which is really kind of her. Thank you so much, Helen. Thank you. And then this, I'm going to make a jumper out of these, which is another reason I need to get that other jumper finished, because I want to start this one. And this is this month. So if you've not had your February minis, look away. And again, these are beautiful. Oh, look at that. Last month's fading into this is going to be absolutely fabulous. So it's another jumper I cannot wait to start. Oh, so excited. So you can look back now. It's so pretty. And yeah, as I said, thank you very much. You can own a set of these. It's in DK, so you can have exactly the same box as I've got, which is exciting. So I shall put that box in the podcast prizes. I've got another one, which again is another club. So if you haven't received your February, I think it is, Bumbling Yarns, the Buffy one, look away. Now Nora is very kindly sending these to me each month, so that I can do whatever I like with them, and I have obviously showing them to you guys. Very pretty. I love these. So pretty. There we go. That's a good. That's a good shot. Now I'm going to attempt a granny stripe blanket with these. They are 10 lots of 5 gram. And I've got the other set, I'm going to put them together and I'm going to start a granny striped blanket. I might try and start it this weekend, it may be next weekend, and see whether using a stitch marker on the ends I can do it straight. If I can't, I may very well do a corner to corner, but the problem with the corner to corner is because you start off with such a big chunk of yarn before you get it into smaller pieces. But these are really pretty, so thank you, Laura, love those. What else have we got in here? We've got that and those and that. Right, so the other thing I've got is this. Now, I had a go at dyeing yarn myself at the weekend. This is an Explosion in Blue, which is probably what I'd name it. And I was trying to go for very subtle speckles. I failed. I mean, it is sort of speckly. It's more splodgy than speckly, if I'm honest. But the blue literally exploded. I took the lid off the little pot that Laura, because this came from a kit from Laura of the Lonely Knitter. And I took the pot off, the lid off the pot, and it just went everywhere. I was blue for the entire weekend. But I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. I mean, I don't dislike it. It's 4-ply fingering sock yarn. It just wasn't quite what I wanted. I was wanting undyed with tiny blue speckles. And then when that didn't work, I then added in green and yellow too. So I made it quite kind of an under the sea theme. I think there's some purple in there as well. I think the purple I did actually manage to speckle a little bit better. I think by the time I added the purple, I'd kind of got the hang of it a little bit. But yeah, we didn't quite turn out how I planned it. So no idea what I'm going to do. That's going to sit in my stash. But I have got it. This is my other yarn that I dyed. So that's the one I dyed before Christmas. And then that's the mini that Meg dyed. So I've got a little stash of our own hand dyed yarn. I mean, I'm never going to be a yarn dyer, as that proves quite quickly. I haven't got the delicate touch for it, but I had fun doing it, and I've got quite a stash of undyed yarn that I'm going to have fun dyeing up. Don't know what I'd do with it. I might split that up, make it into minis, and bore my friends with it. Stick it in my swaps. It's a bit of a mean thing to do, isn't it? So also in here I've got 2 more things. Number one, everybody's been asking me about my moths in here, which I haven't got moths in here, but I thought I might to give a shout out to this product. Now, I can't go to say whether it works or not because I haven't got moths, so the traps haven't caught anything, but I particularly like this product and I like the ethos. So it comes with this lovely little question and answer sheet, which is a pleasure to read in itself. Whoever has read all the instructions, I had to on this because the way they've written this is amazing. So the troubleshooting bit is, when can I expect to see results? Depends on the severity of the infestation, but you should usually start catching moths within 3 days of removing the label on the traps. My traps haven't caught anything. Why? Congratulations, you likely don't have an infestation. If you're seeing a lot of moths, however, they may not be closed moths. Our ebook, brilliant, has a handy identification guide if you're confused. Nope, I recognise them. They're definitely closed moths. Pheromone traps exclusively catch male moths to prevent breeding, so it's possible the ones you're seeing are females. Give it a few more days, and if you're still having no joy, get in touch and for a no returns required refund and expert advice. Okay, and it says on it, don't forget to read the back. Question. So you offer full refunds if the traps don't work, but what if I've discovered my moth infestation isn't closed moths? I've bought the wrong product. Can I still get a refund? Absolutely, it's no difference to us. You can still get a hassle-free refund. Just email us at. Question. Why are you so sweet? It's easy to do when it's you. Wow, that's a heck of a policy. I love you guys. Thanks, hypothetical customer we've made up. We love you too. How can I support you guys? We're glad you asked. we mean you asked. We make our living through the word of mouth. So if you could leave us an honest review, that would be brilliant. We would further cement our status as an absolute legend. So, I mean, these are the Manchester Mothmen, and it is such a lovely idea that if these don't work, you can get a full refund anyway, or if you've got the wrong moths, you can get a full refund anyway. So we will give these a go. I've got them up here. I've got that they're in the room. I have no moths at the moment. I haven't seen any moths either. I haven't seen any moths anywhere in the house, which is great. So let's see how these go. So that's part of it. The other thing I use is actual little moth tablets that are like little mothballs, and I put them in each one of these. It says that each one is supposed to do a certain square meterage, so I've probably got enough for like 3 times over, but I'm not taking any chances. So we will see. But I liked that idea. And I thought I'd just give them a bit of a shout out, as I thought, well, any company that's going to give you a refund even if you've got it wrong, that's a cool company. Bear with. Right. So next up, I was going to show you these. Now these are my first ever pair of scrappy socks. This was made out of the advent from Lay Family, my first ever advent from Lay Family yarn, 2017, I think. Such pretty colours. I love this pair of socks. However, unfortunately, I used a magic knot ball on the second sock. So this sock here, I sewed the ends in. Okay. First sock, I sewed in the ends. And as you can see, no holes, absolutely fine, no problems. Second sock, I used a magic knot. Can you see all the holes? Every single one of them, I think, has come undone. So my lesson I've taken from that is do not use a magic knot on socks. Fine in blankets, but don't use it in socks. So I'm really sad because obviously, I mean, I'm not even sure these are fixable, if I'm honest. They are very much, yeah. But yeah, lesson learned. As much as we all like to take shortcuts, and none of us really like weaving in ends, to be fair, I do. I don't mind. I actually quite like weaving in ends. I'd rather weave in ends than have that happen. So I have one perfectly good sock and one not so good sock. I just wish I had enough of this yarn left to knit a second sock, because that would be fab, because it's so pretty. That was such a pretty advent. But unfortunately I don't. So all I can do is see if I can match closely from my Kelly minis, which is a square over there, all of its own, and see whether I can match something similar and make it. But yeah, that's a lesson in magic knot balls. They don't always work. Right, I think other than a couple of little lavender pouches from the lovely Sherry, my basket is now empty. That was a bit of a haul, wasn't it? All the clubs dropping at once. Right, so I think that's the end of Happy Mail. So, life stuff. I've got my chest of drawers made at the weekend. Now, I should hopefully have some video footage of this. If you're a mum, especially if you're a mum of older children, when your child comes to you and says, I'm bored, you normally find them a job to do, yeah? Well, Charlie, bless her, on Saturday morning did just that. She came in and went, I'm bored. Well, she came in and she was hovering. I was like, are you okay, darling? And she wandered a bit and made a drink. And I was like, are you sure you're okay? And she went, I'm bored. Well, if you're bored, would you like to come and give me a hand in the garden? She sort of looked at me, and I explained to her that we were going to be sanding down the chest of drawers and painting, etc. And I just let her loose with the sander, and she had a great time, and she did a fantastic job, and she got me to the point that I got the chest of drawers finished at the weekend, whereas I'd still be doing them this weekend if she hadn't done all the sanding for me. I also finished my stool, which I will give you a better look at this kind of during the studio tour, but that's my stool. So I've painted it all white and it's got a new top on it, which I love. So that's my new stall. And my new chest of drawers is just over there, but as I said, I'll show you that when I'm doing my craft room tool. So I'm really pleased with it. It matches better in here than the colour it did, which is great. And I spent all weekend doing that and then dyeing, and I enjoyed doing the dyeing. I've got an old slow cooker that we broke the pan in, that the actual, like the ceramic part, crock pot, and it glued it back together again, but it's never been watertight since. So it leaks water, but it's not a problem because the container's fine. I mean, it'll probably rust after overall time, but it's sort of contained in there. It's designed, if things leak, it's not a problem. So I turn that on and I soak the yarn in that, and then I use the dyes and just do it. So I can only do a skein at a time. But yeah, I just use the crock pot. The only thing is, it was nice on Saturday. It was really lovely outside, but on Sunday there was a real chill in the air. That was quite chilly, and then ever since then it's been really cold again. So I'm going to wait until it's warmed up a bit before I dye anything else. Then I can get it dry outside as well, which would be nice. My cherry tree is in major blossom. It looks really pretty. My crocuses are out. The honeysuckle doesn't seem to have worried about the haircut I gave it in the autumn and is going mad, which is great. I'm really pleased about that. My jasmine, jury's out on that. That's not looking very well. I looked at it the other day. I was like, oh, I wonder if I'm going to lose that. Doesn't look very happy. Perhaps it's in the wrong place. I mean, it's up a wall because it's a climbing jasmine, but so it has to be sheltered to a certain degree, but fingers crossed it goes okay. I think I've lost a rose bush as well over the winter. That seems to have disappeared. How does something just disappear? Where does it go? So yeah, there seems to be lacking one of my rose bushes, so fingers crossed either it's going to come back, or, you know, goodness knows what happened to that. And then various other bulbs are coming up, bluebells, and my snowdrops didn't know. That's one thing that didn't work. I didn't get a single snowdrop, which I was like, oh, that's a bit disappointing. But of all the snowdrops I planted, none of them came up. Other things are, and the crocuses are one of them, which is lovely. My plans for the coming week, I don't think I have any, which is lovely. I don't think I've got anything major going on. I haven't got any appointments or anything, which is great. That's good news. So yeah, hopefully a quiet week, which would be lovely. Gosh, before the chaos starts. So like I said earlier, we go back to face-to-face guiding outside. We can't do it inside, but we can do it outside with up to 15 girls when we go back after Easter, so that's mid-April. None of our packs, I don't think the guides have got more than 15. I don't know, I'm not sure about that. But I don't think any of our packs are over 15. If they are, then we might have to split the meeting into 2 3/4 of an hour slots so that all the girls get a fair chance to attend. That'll be fun. It'll be nice to get back to some form of normality, won't it? Looking forward to the restrictions easing a little bit. Bit of a shame we doesn't do it before Mother's Day, but hey, I'm going to have a Zoom Mother's Day. I mean, I was really lucky last year. All the girls were living here, so I was one of the lucky mums last year. So I'm not going to begrudge the fact I need to have a Zoom one this year. Otherwise, I don't think I've got anything else to share with you. I think that's it for this week. I'm not sure how much of a vlog I've got. Hopefully I have got some footage of the Charlie outside with a power tool, and I took some footage of the tree this morning. That might be about it. Anyway, I hope you're all okay wherever you are. Take care, and I'll see you next week.